In law enforcement, a promotion to the position of supervisor is an invitation to the wonderful world of risk management. Risk management and legal liability and headaches and heartburn that you aren't used to having as a patrol officer. So many supervisors that I've met over the last 10 years that have talked about how they've had those times where they really wish they hadn't put in for the supervisory role, because they thought about leading from the front, they thought about being the first one in, they thought about being a leader. They didn't think about being a manager, and they certainly didn't think about being a risk manager. But that's what you are. Like it or not, that is the job. Now, I understand, after talking to supervisors across the country for 10 years, that oftentimes that may not have been clearly articulated to you. At least you don't remember hearing it sold to you that way when you went in for a position as a sergeant or as a corporal, whatever the case may be. But the reality is that pretty quickly, once you're in that supervisory position, it becomes clear that you are a risk manager. The three most important questions in supervisor liability are: what did you know, when did you know it, and what did you do? And an important asterisk to put right next to that is should, right? Did equals should. So what should you have known? When should you have known it? And what should you have done? Because we don't want plausible deniability supervisors. We don't want supervisors saying, you know, I had heard that nickname, but I didn't really think anything of it. Yeah, I heard some rumblings. I keep my earbuds in, and I just try to stay in my office with the door closed. So I try to make sure I don't know anything. Am I good? No, that's called negligence. And to be very clear, when I talk about liability and risk, I'm not just talking about dollars and cents. I'm not just talking about state court, federal court. I'm talking about public trust. I'm talking about the court of public opinion. Because you certainly know better than I do that when you have issues of liability, when you have not just one lawsuit, people can file a lawsuit, but when you see patterns of legal liability, when you see patterns of failures to manage risk, you are very likely to see right alongside that a loss of public trust, a diminished public trust. And if you keep looking, and if we're honest and humble enough to do a self-assessment on these things, when we see supervisor liability failures, we're seeing leadership failures. We're seeing failures of ethical leadership. We're seeing failures to deal with things while it's on my watch. I'm not going to do see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. We're going to deal with this right now while it's hopefully minor league, single A stupid, and not major league stupid, which now we're talking about something that's a danger. We're talking about something that's very expensive and something that really chips away at the public trust in a way that's difficult to calculate. Minimizing risk has got to be our goal, because if we think that we're going to eliminate it, we're missing the very point. This is a high risk, high liability field that you've chosen. But that's not an excuse, it seems to me, for saying we don't have to manage it. We don't have to be risk managers. We don't have to ask questions like, why are we doing that? We don't have to ask questions like, just how important is this? Those are questions we need to be asking on a regular basis.